Alrighty, folks. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. My name is Bojan Petreski. We'll be doing the Futures Now intraday session. The disclaimer is going on there for your convenience and protection. Please make sure to take a look at that. We'll be doing the Futures Now intraday trading with our channel, Trade with UFOs. Today is the first day of March 1st, 2021. Over here in San Diego, looking like a really nice, beautiful day. Hopefully, it is the same wherever you may be. Before we get started with looking at the charts and looking at potential opportunities, I do want to bring to your attention to take a look at the link over here at tradewithufos.com/Bojan. There's definitely some information out there that we're basically bringing to you. Essentially speaking, even on a daily basis, I would say that things are developing on our end. So we're in full 100% mode right now. But please do check it out, take a look, and we'll get going from here on out. If this is the first time you're joining with us, welcome to the channel. We're glad to have you. If you're an auto UFO veteran, welcome back. We're glad to have you as well. We'll be getting started in just a few seconds. I just want to make sure, because we are, before we go through it, we are just going to quickly go through the agenda. We are simulcasting, so I do want to make sure that everybody can see wherever you may be watching this, whether it's Facebook, Vimeo, if you're watching this on YouTube. I have all the channels open here on my end. If you do have anything you want to say in any of the chats, please feel free to do so. I do have them open here, so just want to make sure we're all on the same page and everybody's going the same way. Obviously, if you're watching this recorded, it doesn't apply to you, but just want to make sure that because these public streams, sometimes things could go wrong. It doesn't look like we're having any technical difficulties today, which is great to hear. Again, something that is brand new that we brought to the channel is the fact that we have private streams that run on our website at tradewithufos.com/live. We basically continue throughout the entirety of the session. There's no restriction. The public streams will be going on for a limited amount of time, which is typically until we execute and manage the first trade, or we'll determine that based on how the session goes. Sometimes we may find opportunities in the first few minutes of the session, and then we'll manage it, or if we might just find an opportunity and then figure it out later. Again, as with all things in technology, there is a slight video lag because of the nature of this worldwide distribution network that we're distributing this video stream to. And then, of course, as I said, use the chat box. Any questions, any comments, type them in. I'll be able to take a look at them and answer them. If not, you can always send us an email. That's not a problem at all. So first couple of things that we're going to look at right now is actually, now that we have some trades under our belt, we're going to take a look at some of the trades that we took from last time. And I'm just going to open them up here. So we did have a couple of trades that we executed last time. The first one was the setup that we had on the euro, right? So this was the setup that we did have here. We took this setup, we exited this setup. I believe this was a time stop, and of course, it does get recorded as a time stop, which is fine. You see, we actually did not win, we did not make or lose any money on this trade. Interestingly enough, two candles later, this exploded well past our T2. Actually, it made it all the way up to this 2167, 675 area. Later on, it had an explosive move, but of course, we followed our plan to the T. We missed out on the win, but we were right on with our plan, which, in my opinion, is a win in itself. Because believe me, after a while, this consistency will save you a lot of headaches. The other one that we also took was on the ES. We took this trade. It was a pretty short trade, I would say. It did get before. Sorry, that's the other setup. So we had a short setup on the ES that we were taking, that we were looking at taking, and we did get filled. That one was a stop out, and I believe that was also a time stop, No, actually, it was a full one. We had a we just had a massive move against us, and those things happen sometimes. It is what it is. That's trading. Believe me, if we had a crystal ball that would just give you all the winners all the time, we would definitely be doing that. But again, we just probabilities were looking in our favor, and things were looking in our favor, so we executed that trade based on our probabilities in our market analysis. We did have a setup on the RTY that kind of came towards the later on, but it never got filled. The climate got changed, so this trade got invalidated. So that is why this one does not have an exit picture that I can share with you. So that's that for the trade view for the close trades from the last time we were together. Again, we don't have any open trades because what we do today is typically short-term trading. So if for some reason we start off with an intraday trade and we trail stop for a week, I'm going to expect to see big smiles on faces and people just kind of be conservative and think hey where do we move our profit target to? Where do we move our trail stop to? What do we do here? How do we capture the most money out of this big winning trade? In my experience so far, that hasn't happened to me where I turn an intraday trade into a week-long swing trade. I have held, past the close and so on, but most of the time, typically these intraday trades will end up getting closed either within the same day or maybe even within the same hour. All right, so I'm not seeing any comments or questions on the chat box, folks. So what I'll do is I'll just move on to looking for some opportunities. If there are any, please, don't hesitate to ask them. And before we move on, whatever stream you're looking at this, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, hit that notification bell on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you may be, so we can get the word out to everybody out there, because believe me, the stuff that we got going on this channel, I don't think there's many things like that around the world. Okay, let's get started. So we're just going to look at, I just realized I had a thing open here. So we're going to go ahead and open our TradeStation here. We're going to hit the workspace and look for the short-term opportunities, the short-term time frames. Workspace. Of course, AutoUFOs is available on TradeStation, TradingView, and MetaTrader 5, the web version. So if you do not have TradeStation, you can certainly access it. You can certainly access our apps on TradingView or MetaTrader. The one advantage that TradeStation currently has, and I'm saying this currently because we never know what the future may hold, that TradeStation has this radar screen that basically, allows us to be even more strict with our plan by just letting us, determine, hey, we can't open a workspace unless it says that we can open it. So how do we do that? How does it say? How does the a piece of software tell us to do yes or no things, right? Well, it tells us when a climate condition right here. Oops, not what I meant to do. When a climate condition right here is a confirmed up or down climate, right? And it's sensible, right? That's what we want. And over here on this is what I was actually looking for. On the climate itself is confirmed. So we want the condition to be a sensible, long or short, and a confirmed climate, like it is right here on the Japanese yen. Okay, it just changed to regular sensible, but it was flashing. So what I'm going to do is, because we don't have anything else that we can look at right now, except for these two 40-minute time frames down here, I'm going to go ahead and open this Japanese yen futures chart 60-minute. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Open workspace, and we got JY 60 minutes. Okay. Let's get that going for us. Alrighty. So, just to make sure, yep, we're on the March 21 contract. Good stuff. Okay. So let's take a look and see what we got going on. So first things first that we always have to look at is down here, down below. Oops. Down here on this um, window below, right? This is our climate window. We're on the 60-minute climate on JY. We do see that we're on the second confirmed climate, third overall, out of typically 6. So because it counts this previous blue candle, so we're on the third out of typically 6. So that means we do have permission to look for long opportunities. Now, the climate answers us the question of, hey, which direction should we be looking for this stuff? And the direction is to the long side. Now we need to answer the question of, where do we enter? Where do we exit? And that question gets answered by utilizing our auto UFOs. Now, right here, right in front of us, we are seeing 93,778 is the moving average. We're looking on the 60-minute time frame where the climate is. So we're looking for a moving average exponential. This is the 9 EMA confluence with the auto UFOs on these edge time frames that we're utilizing. Now, if a lot of this information sounds like a little bit, confusing information, or maybe you're just not comfortable with some of the stuff that I'm saying, please definitely check out our courses or our previous YouTube sessions. Whichever one you have more time for, I would definitely recommend the courses to kind of get more familiar with some of the terminology that we're utilizing and why we use it and so on. So, looking at this right here, the 9 EMA is looking at the 93.77.7, which, obviously there's no 7 at the end on the JY. So it's looking like this UFO over here, 93.786 down to 735, is actually a valid UFO that coincides with this market climate. So therefore, we're going to go ahead and set up a trade at 785. Right there, and look at that, it's just an 11 tick stop and a T1, which is great, right? We definitely want those. The shorter they are, the less risk we have, and the less price needs to travel if we were to utilize it, if we were to take it, right, to take our T1. Because obviously, most of the time we definitely want to be looking at this stuff and saying, okay, I like the exposure. I have to say that I'm okay with it, because that's just how things work. We have to be okay with the risk that we're taking. But on top of that, the less that T1 area is at, the bigger the chance that prices are gonna touch your entry and travel up to it. So that's what we want to see. We want to see that sort of stuff. So, all right. Let's go ahead and so we already have this set up. Before we take a screenshot, though, we have to take a look and see where our final target's going to be. And the way we do that is by going to Enable Studies here, put the Auto UFOs on. Right there, we have a final target above us. And it looks like we might be getting filled shortly on this. So here we go. Our final target is 94.040. So 94.040. 94.040. Let's go ahead and put this right there. 94.040. All right, that's it. We have framed out our trade. We have put it together. I'm gonna go ahead and take a screenshot of it and save it in my folder here. So 2021-0301 JY setup. All right, making sure we take extreme care when we're not just entering these trades, but also making sure that we maintain that transparency of, hey, we executed a trade. What was the result? Right? We're not going to review just the winners and say, okay, we're 100% winners over here. No, we're going to execute things, and we're going to review them accordingly and make sure everything is squared away, everything is nice and clear, no ands, ifs, or buts. We need to follow through on our process. Okay, so now that trade is set up and it's looking like we're gonna get filled, which is great. Come on, JY, just one more tick, please. The auto UFO is right there, and of course, with futures, if you're taking this live, it's first in, first out. So a tick touch may fill you, but it may not. Typically, you want to see it one or two past it um, to get us going, to get us filled. But we are where we are. We're going to see what's going to happen, and that will be that. So, all right. Well, it's teasing us a little bit. It's coming close, but not quite filling us. Let's see if we have any other opportunities because we just recently had a climate update, right? Because on these 50-minute climates, they update every 50 minutes. Unfortunately for us, nothing new has happened. So we're gonna go ahead and keep looking at least until that first trade that we found on the Japanese yen doesn't get filled. Then we're just gonna keep looking until something comes close or does get filled, and then we're gonna go ahead and switch to our private channel and move on from there, just to see what's going on here. So not a whole bunch. TY, the 10-year note, is giving us a sensible short. So let's go ahead and get that open real quick. So TY, 10-year note. Not seeing a whole lot of chatter on the chat boxes, guys. If there are any questions, please feel free to type them. If there aren't, just feel free to say, hey, no questions. We're following along. Let's get this going. Hurry it up. So either way, please let me know. TYH, I think we may have a change on the front contract. So let's take a look at the financials here. We might be on the M for the 10-year. And yes, we are. Okay. TYM21. And guys, the way I quickly and indecisively determine that, you can just open up barchart.com. You go to futures most active financials, and right there in the financials, it'll tell you like, hey, this is the front month contract. Volume is 1.4 million for the 10-year, the 5-year, the T-bond, the 2-year. Interestingly enough, that's the easiest way to kind of determine this very, very quickly. So definitely take a look at that. All right. Now for the 10-year itself, 13,188. I'm sorry, 133,188, right? Which is right below here. I would say at the not at the 08, but around here, the 7.5, if I'm not mistaken. So this, unfortunately, even though there's a UFO nearby, I don't believe this will work. It will end up missing it. So and to make it even more fun, the moving average is it's actually right on it right now at 06.5 at 184. So it's already trading above it on a short a down climate. So unfortunately, we're not going to be taking this one. Let's see if we can find something else in the meantime. The euro has a sensible long, and it's 0.8 ATRs away, so it's a little bit far away from us. The only ones that are also flashing, down here, down below, we have quite a few of them actually. Crude oil, I'm going to open just to see what's going on with it on the 240-minute time frame. There we go. In the meantime, our yen trade, I'm looking at it on a separate screen here. We're still kind of dancing around that 93.80.5 area. So unfortunately, we still don't have anything there yet. I haven't traded the crude oil 240 minutes since the V contract. Which again, just to see, hey, where are we with this? We just simply go to energies. And we look at crude oil and see that it's on the J contract, the April 2021. So we're just going to type at CLJ 21, CLJ 21. And that loads up the chart. And look at that. 62.22 is the exponential moving average. 62.22 has no UFO, 22 has no UFO, and 22 has no UFO. And oops, just like that, we've determined that, hey, we have nothing to trade here. We're just going to go ahead and close this. It was that quick. 1, 2, 3. Okay, folks. In the meantime, we also had, interestingly enough, we have the, but this is getting to the point. Okay, so currently on the ninth out of typically 12 um, down standard deviation for the JY on this 240-minute time frame. I do tend to pay attention to these large time frames a lot more, and especially because of the fact that we're also looking at the daily time frames on some of these symbols that we're trading. Because as in the morning when we do the 3D market overview, the 3D news flash, we do look at the dailies on all of them just to kind of give us an idea of what's something that we might expect to happen. Okay, so it should come to mind to all of you, when you do have them set up to kind of say, hey, this 240-minute time frame is saying we should be going short. As of right now, on the 60-minute time frame, we do have a sensible long on the JY, but we should pretty much be okay with that for at least another 40 minutes or so, at least up until this current climate goes from 3 to 4, and we realize that we're actually at the end of this 60-minute time frame, a 60-minute climate, right? Because that's what these numbers represent here. The current climate is on the 3, right? That means for 3 hours it's been going up, but it typically goes up for 4 hours, right? So it should come to mind and say, hey, if this typically goes up for 4 hours, right? Because this is 392 is rounded up as to 4. And on top of that, this 240-minute climate is giving us a short opportunity that may be something that you want to look at and say, hey, it's at the end of this 60-minute time frame. I'm just not going to take this trade right now. That's completely understandable and completely viable, I would say. Okay. Um, it's interesting. The last time when we had our session, we actually went through 3 different setups within like the span of about 15 or 20 minutes. But here we are now, kind of fishing for trades. And honestly, I do say fishing for trades because I'm trying not to force anything. I'm just trying to make sense and of what is being presented to us, and just take it as it is. I'm not trying to force anything. I'm not in a hurry to get in a trade. I'm just looking to see what kind of opportunities are ahead of us. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at. Let's go since we kind of have some time and the JY still hasn't triggered. We're gonna go and take a look at these 4 time frames right here. The 4 240-minute tickers that are giving us opportunities between the yen, natural gas, silver, and the U.S. the 30-year note. Let's see how quickly we can go through them. So, as I said, so we're looking at JY 240. We're looking at natural gas 240. We're looking at silver, which I don't often trade. And we're going to look at the US 30, which is the US 240 actually. So we're going to have to make a new workspace for that one as well. Some good use of our time right now to make sure that we're not just doing anything funky. In the meantime, in about 5 minutes from now, we are going to have an update on the climates, on the 15-minute time frame climates. So I already saw some of them that may give us a potential change, because in the way I see that, it's not because I see something that nobody else can, but I just saw that some of the climates that were unconfirmed but near sensible were getting into the negative numbers, which means that those climates could be close to changing. Okay, that's what a negative number on the ATR spread means. Okay, So, all right, we got everything loaded up. So the first one we're going to look at is the JY. Does that to me at JYH21. Okay, our trade setup that we have there is still there, hasn't gotten filled. um, Still waiting for data. It's a little strange. I wonder why. Let's try to reload it and see what happens. Um, let's see. There we go. Okay, so we're all loaded in. Unfortunately, from looking at it on first look right now, we the 93.87.5 is where the moving average is on this 240-minute time frame. Um, we simply don't have any UFOs around that area on any of our time frames up above our edge time frames. So unfortunately, we're not going to be doing anything different with this one. Simply going to close it and save it. Now the U.S. the 30-year bond, the T bond, I think that's also on the U.S. J21, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it's not. Oh, it is on the June. So what? ZBM. Oh no, it's on the M. That's why I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? USM 21. That's why I was like, wait, what? How could it not be there? Okay. All right. So this one is currently. That's a little strange. It's on the ninth. Um, it's currently on the ninth candle out of typically eight. So it's already past the sensible point to be entering this short. So it might be just that it calculates this candle or does not calculate it without it on the other workspace. But obviously, as we see right now, we're on the ninth hour down out of typically eight. So we're simply not going to be taking this. We're going to close it. All right, and it looks like we may be getting filled on our yen trade after all. Again, we're a couple of ticks away. And look at that. Since we got here, it actually ticked to our T1 and has come down again. Um, would have been really nice if we were on board that. But again, we're going to see what's going to happen. Hopefully, in the next few minutes, we're going to get a fill. I'm just going to leave it alone. Again, I have it on my other screen down here below. So I'm looking at it. As soon as it gets filled, we'll be switching into trade management mode and going from there. Okay, so for natural gas, okay, let's and as you see, for natural gas, the workspace here is on the 240-minute time frame, but of course, we need to see what the current contract is. So again, we're going to open up our bar chart here, look at the energies, and take a look and see what the natural gas contract is trading on, and it is the J, as expected. So at NGJ21. Okay, and let's see what we got going on in front of us. So, ooh, look at that. That's actually within the UFO right there. It is currently on the first confirmed down climate out of six. Moving average is at 2774. So price is already up above the moving average. So right, this being 2774. So unfortunately, this just misses it by a few ticks. Otherwise, this would have been the entry right into this UFO. So of course, so for this one, we simply don't have a trade either. So we're going to save it and close it. Look at that, teasing us. The yen is teasing us, which is fine. Sometimes it happens. We don't do anything different. We're just going to keep it where it is. There's been no updates on this one yet, but we just received some updates. And here we go. We do have an update on gold. I'm going to go straight to it and see what we have in front of us. So gold 15-minute time frame. Let's take a look and see. All right. We do have the first confirmed climate down, 1735.9, which should coincide with this UFO right here, and it does. So 1735.9, gold is just on a downward trajectory for sure. Okay, so that would be our setup there. And folks, 7.9, so it's 37.9, so 38 would be the stop right there. Yep. So we're looking at about 2 points, 2.9 points of stop, $290 a contract. Um, if it's a little too much, obviously gold does have the micro. But given that this is basically the other trade that we did find, what I'll do is right now is I'll just go ahead and get switched to our private channel. So please, again, feel free to join us there. Tradewithufos.com/live. Fairly straightforward link. Join us over there so we can continue looking for opportunities. We already have the yen found and set up and screenshotted. Now we're going to look to frame out this gold trade. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll be switching over to our private channels right now, and we'll be going from there. Alrighty.